Hey guys, Owen here with Seek Outside, and today we're going to be going over how to set up your full liner or half liner in a Cimarron Light. Alright, so to start off, you're going to need a cone. Our Cimarron uses a cone because we don't want to add extra points up here for waterproofing reasons. And a half liner is going to take up half of your teepee, door to your back seam, and a full liner is just another half liner that's going to fill in that space. So I guess let's go ahead and open these guys up. So when you get your liners or liner, you should have a cone, as we talked about in the beginning. Your cone is going to have line locks here on it, as you can see. And there's going to be quite a few here. Now you're going to open up, for this case, we're going to do a half liner to start off. We're going to open this up, and you're going to have cordage that is going to tie into the tent. To make this video easier, we've already tied some in. On the Cimarron Light, I recommend tying into this gross grain right above the line lock for the stakeout point. This is a really solid point to attach to. You can also attach to the stake, but if you want to leave these in, that's a great option. The next thing we have to do here is we have to go ahead and find the top. When we're looking for the top of this, we're looking for the spot that has the least spaced out line locks. And as you can see here, these are spaced out very minimally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tie on all my pieces of cordage to these top points, and I'm going to leave them pretty slack. And then I'm going to tie them in up to these points. So I'm going to do that right now, and then we'll check back in. So as you see, I've left quite a bit of slack here. And that's because I want my liner as close to the bottom of the teepee as I can, because it's going to give me the best coverage and protection from condensation. So we're going to run in here, run into the tent. And as simple as this is, this cone is just going to go, we're going to take our pole out here. We got our trekking pole hitch here. I put this on top, face it in the general direction that I'll be putting the liner in. So you see I got this. And I'm just sliding this back in, and then putting tension back on my pole like that. Next is our time to tie this in to the actual stake points. So what I'll do is I'll start here on one edge, and I'll put this in at the door. As you see, we've tied this into the gross grain here. And I'm just going to thread this line lock through, nice and easy. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this for the rest of the points for half of the shelter. While you're here, bring this line lock down pretty close to the tent so that you get really adequate coverage. When installing the liner, you're going to find that you have a nice little toggle here, and this toggle is just going to thread into this guy out. So just go ahead and do that. Okay, as you can see, we have the half liner installed. Again, 2 half liners create a full liner. This liner is designed to be used with the Cimarron Standard and the Cimarron Light. So you'll have this spot, this is your opening for the standard Cimarron, right, for the stove to go through. But in the Cimarron Light, simply loosen this up a hair and thread this toggle through that gross grain loop right there. And then just go ahead and tension everything up here at the top. So you can either tension it from up here. I like to just tension it here. Tension all this up. Get it nice and tight so you don't have any sag in your liner. And there you go. So there's a half liner installed. Now if we're doing the full liner, I'll take the cordage from the other liner I received, and I'm just going to go ahead and tie that in like we did the last one. And it's really just a rinse and repeat process. So we'll check in once that's in there. All right, so as you can see, we have our full liner installed. Again, just 2 half liners. They're both going to the doors, as you can see. And so you may be like, how should I tie this back? It's as simple as releasing one of these line locks. So let's say this top one, tucking it back behind the liner, right? And tuck it back here, and then just roll this up and use your toggle. So with the full liner in the Cimarron Light, you'll come to this spot right here. Where you see, this is where your stove would be, and you have a line lock that has nowhere to go. Simply, what I would do, especially because most of the time you'll be using a liner, you'll be using a stove, tuck this back into here, and then simply drop this and tuck this back into here. And then you're gonna have room for your stovepipe. What I would do is I would mitigate this as well. So I would tie this off somewhere. So I'll show you how it looks with a stove in it. So now we have our stove in here, and you see this liner is not anywhere near the pipe. Again, either remove or mitigate this line right there, but then that's how you run a stove with this half liner in here, and you won't have any issues. And then if you are using the stove, or you are not using the stove, simply just tie these back up to the top and you'll have no issues there. So there's quite a few reasons you would want a liner. The half liner is designed to sleep 1 or 2 people on one side. Therefore, you can save some weight by not bringing the other half liner. If you want the protection of a full liner, it's gonna be great. It's gonna prevent condensation from getting onto you. It's gonna add a little bit of insulation to the teepee, and it even darkens it out a little bit. So it's a really great system, and I highly recommend taking one if you're gonna be in a place where it's gonna be wet or super cold at night. Anyways, thanks for coming along and checking out how to install a half and a full liner in the Cimarron Light. Super easy process. You can just go ahead and leave it in there if you want to. That's my preferred method. Go ahead and check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram, and check out the Seek Outside YouTube channel for more informational content. And you guys have an amazing day.